However, Donald Trump may not be the most powerful national leader. Most likely, it is Xi Jinping. That might make him the most powerful guy on the planet. But who is Xi Jinping? And what does he seek? To revitalize China and provide economic prosperity to its whole population, to challenge American dominance and make China the world's preeminent power. Keep an eye out for the answer. Hello everyone. Greetings and welcome back to the channel. China's leader Xi Jinping, most dangerous man, will be shown in today's video, so stay focused. Xi's power stems mostly from China being now the world's second largest economy. Its ascension to that position, which occurred around a decade ago, gives it authority that just a few of Xi's predecessors possessed. China's economic progress has resulted from a high degree of integration with the global economy. The decisions Xi took after becoming General Secretary of the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, in November 2012 are what make him the most powerful man today. He was elected president of China not long after. Since then, he has relentlessly ousted CCP competitors and amassed great authority. With that, a time in which collaborative leadership was the norm has ended. He has taken direct charge of the People's Armed Police, and in 2016, he was appointed Commander-in-Chief of the People's Liberation Army. According to Vijay Gokhale, a former foreign secretary who served as India's ambassador to China for a while, even Mao Zedong did not have this position. Furthermore, even at his pinnacle, Mao sometimes shared power with Zhou Enlai and Liu Shaoqi. Power accumulation has been coupled to power exercise without end. The two-term restriction for president was lifted from China's constitution in 2018, allowing Xi to serve more than 2 terms. Xi Jinping is a menace to the whole globe, and his nation as well. Strongmen are cautious about what the world learns about their history. As a result, it is prudent to be skeptical of their official stories. Given this limitation, it's worth considering what Xi remarked in a 2004 interview. Xi, a Tsinghua University chemical engineer, was born in 1953 into the family of one of the CCCP's founders. His father, a CCP veteran, had been purged in 1962. Xi was deported from Beijing in his mid-teens due to the Cultural Revolution. As Xi's train rolled out of Beijing, it was crowded with people sobbing, probably from the forced exile. Xi claimed to be the only person on the train who was happy. And why is this so? He could not be certain that he would survive the Cultural Revolution in Beijing, since he was compelled to flee to the countryside. This Chinese leader was invited by India for an informal meeting less than a year ago at Mamallapuram, with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, expressing optimism that it will help begin a new chapter in bilateral ties. Xi Jinping is dangerouser than Putin. Chinese President Xi Jinping is the most threatening guy in the world, argues former DFAT Australia-China Council researcher Andrew Fillon. Much more than Putin, he said. Every day, it becomes clear that Chinese President Xi Jinping's decision to escalate his no-limits strategic bromance with Russian President Vladimir Putin, just days before the Russian dictator launched his war in Ukraine, represents the riskiest and short-sighted gamble of his 9 years in power. Assume that Europe's deadliest battle since World War II results in Putin's military retreat, failure, or political removal. In that scenario, it has all the components to be President Xi's most serious challenge yet, coming as it does in the run-up to his pivotal 20th Chinese Communist Party Congress in November. There is no question that President Xi must start thinking about the ramifications of Putin's demise. In the most influential speech of his lengthy political career, U.S. President Joe Biden deviated from his planned text in Poland to propose what price Putin should pay for his unjustifiable, unprovoked, and illegal attack on Ukraine's population. For God's sake, this guy cannot continue in power, Biden added. 3 days ago, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg labeled Xi as Putin's accomplice in Brussels. Beijing has joined Moscow In calling into question the freedom of independent states to choose their own course, he added, China has offered political assistance to Russia, including by propagating blatant falsehoods and misinformation. What is at risk in Ukraine's existence is the future of the world order, and who will determine it? It is time for international democracies to go beyond a reactive reaction to Putin's threat in Ukraine and embrace a strategic opportunity. Putin's failure in Ukraine might reverse the world's authoritarian trend, break the common strategic cause between Xi and Putin, and reveal the duplicity that taints Xi's global aspirations. The issue for Xi in this crucial year for his historic legacy is that his issues are self-inflicted, cumulative, and escalating. None of these would be enough to turn his fellow party members against him, particularly after a series of purges that purged prospective opponents. When they are combined, however, they have significantly altered the mood. Xi's failure to predict Putin's military failures and increasing war crimes may raise questions about the Chinese president's judgment on several other fronts. These are some examples. Xi's a more confrontational and aggressive global strategy, abandoning Deng Xiaoping's guiding foreign ideology of conceal your might and bide your time. Normally antagonistic to the U.S., realized that a more gradual buildup of Chinese military, economic, and technical strength would have yielded better outcomes than wolf warrior diplomacy. Many members of China's Communist Party, especially those of Xi's age or older, are concerned about their jobs and futures if Xi is re-elected for a record third term in November. Rumors abound that Xi would choose a new generation of leaders who will be more likely to be cooperative while postponing any consideration of succession. The myth of Xi's control of the COVID-19 epidemic, which was one of his key sources of leadership legitimacy until recently, is being demolished. Chinese concern over future outbreaks has already resulted in severe lockdowns in Shenzhen and Changchun in northern China. Zero-COVID policy has resulted in low vaccination rates, particularly for booster doses, fewer effective vaccinations, and unexpected economic issues. Xi thinks such changes are required to transform China into a powerhouse capable of wielding global influence. The consequences might have a long-term impact on world relations. Yet, in most European capitals, what Xi has accomplished is only dimly acknowledged, a threat to the continent's economic and security interests and to the fundamental ideas it cherishes. Europeans must determine what role they want to play in an unpredictable world. The son of a senior Communist Party politician talks like his predecessors, promising reforms and emphasizing peaceful development. But the China he leads was a very different country than that of the 1990s and 2000s, when leaders in the United States and Europe hoped Xi could persuade Beijing to open up. Xi has effectively halted pro-market liberalization. In its stead, he has increased state-led initiatives aimed at protecting and nurturing Chinese champions, capable of driving Western competition out of cutting-edge sectors. Xi is vigorously pushing authoritarianism abroad, whether via his backing for liberal regimes in Iran, Venezuela, Belarus, and elsewhere, or by his regime's increasingly strident efforts to coerce journalists, academics, and international firms to stifle criticism of China. President Xi Jinping has the potential to be one of the most influential leaders in Chinese history. Xi is the country's military head, president, and leader of the Chinese Communist Party, a remarkable concentration of power. When Parliament elected Xi in 2012, he received 99.87% of the vote, with just 4 out of 3,000 members voting against him. However, Mao Zedong, the People's Republic of China's father, and Deng Xiaoping, the country's capitalist economy architect, continue to eclipse Xi. His legacy still needs to be discovered since China's recent economic crisis, and the Tianjin explosions highlight possible issues for his administration. Chairman of all committees, Xi Jinping was the first Chinese leader born after 1949, when Mao's communist troops gained power after a long civil war. who is set to be elected for a record-breaking third term. When China's governing Communist Party, CCP, convened its 20th Congress, has risen to become his country's most powerful leader since Mao Zedong. His visage appears on the front pages of national newspapers, and his feats and commands often make the nightly news. The Communist Party Congress of 2017 formally inducted Xi into the leadership pantheon alongside Mao and market reformer Deng Xiaoping by inscribing his name and political beliefs into the party's constitution. That's all we have for you today. Take a look at China's leader Xi Jinping, the most dangerous man. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see all future videos, subscribe to the channel and switch on notifications. First and foremost, what do you think about these leaders, and how can you justify them more precisely? Please participate and share your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you so much for watching.